$500.
This tonight. That preamble. It's always a moment.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I appreciate all the alums coming out today to participate with what has been already a productive couple of hours where we underwent some training to learn about how we can support the administration and the university around recruiting students to Wilberforce. And so we appreciate all the support and attendance today. But more importantly, we're excited to have the president of Wilberforce University, Dr. Herman J. Felton, come today and bring us some words about the state of the university. I think as we participate in this renaissance, getting Wilberforce back to where it has been and to its rightful place on the top, it's important for us to have open lines of communication and for us to get a clear sense for what's happening at the university on a more regular and consistent basis. And the president is committed to that. He's going all around the country, meeting with alumni chapters like here in Atlanta, to bring us that information and word, and we're appreciative of that. We're appreciative of his leadership. The university is making great strides as we move forward, and I think the information you're going to hear today is supportive of that, and we encourage for you to participate. I'm sure that the president's going to have an opportunity for you to have questions about anything that he might have shared with you today, and we encourage you to ask those questions because I think what that does is facilitate us thinking about how it is that we can even do things better as we move forward. So without further ado, President Felton.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Good afternoon. It's great to be here today. I want to, on behalf of our Board of Trustees, the Chancellor, Bishop McKinley Young, who happens also to be the presiding prelate and the senior bishop in the African Methodist Episcopal Church, bring greetings on his behalf, the chairman of our board, Mr. Mark Wilson, class of '82, and all the other trustees, our students and our faculty. I bring you greetings from God's country in Wilberforce, Ohio. I'm Herman Felton, and I am blessed to be the 21st president of Wilberforce University, the oldest private historically black college in America. Today I'd like to deliver a State of the University address to give individuals a snap overview as to what's going on at dear old WU, and for you to have firsthand knowledge about the state of the college. With the exception of the black church, there are few institutions in this nation that we as a people can call our own. Wilberforce University was conceived and founded by those who believed that they had the ability and responsibility to build a formidable institution that would educate its citizens and ensure the uplift and ascendancy of its community. Wilberforce University stood as the first to alight this powerful idea of self-love and self-determination for newly freed persons of African descent. For 161 years, this university has contributed mightily to the nation and the world by nurturing and educating graduates who have changed the world with their brilliance, activism, and courage. I stand before you today to invite you to invest in this continuation of this extraordinary legacy. There are forces that would attempt to derail our work, but we cannot and must not be disappointed and moved in ways that disappoints those who came before us or those who stand before us with great potential. This is our time. The Wilberforce Renaissance is real, and with your help, the legacy of excellence and achievement will continue. However, not now, nor ever, will we entertain the notion of a merger with another institution. We must be vigilant in assuring that we do everything in our powers to ensure we never meet the fate of a St. Paul's College, a Barber Scotia, or a Morris Brown. The choice is simply ours. I'd like to address you today with a central theme and a singular focus on asking you to invest in Wilberforce University's Renaissance. I'd like to talk about what that looks like, and in doing so, we prepared an address that places a stake in the ground to delineate the beginning of this Renaissance and captures the progress simultaneously while highlighting the strategic direction in which we run towards. What we inherited: Wilberforce University was placed on show cause by HLC, and the extraordinary work of the entire Wilberforce family allowed us to successfully satisfy standards needed to remove the show cause. However, we were put on notice of a follow-up visit, specifically focusing on two areas: our finances and the Klein program. Preparation of this focus visit has already begun, and this visit comes in October. The institution has focused on the Klein program, and we've done that to bring the Klein program in line with the other academic programs in terms of course offerings and degree programs. The administration of the program and the institution's ability to operate multiple sites effectively is also a cause for concern at HLC. Unfortunately, this also means that we will not expand the course offerings to include an education degree for Klein programs. We must bring those programs in line with the programs that are offered to our students on campus. Can't exceed that, can't move forward. Second, our finances. HLC will revisit for the purpose of looking at our debt management, our fiscal responsibility, and our ability to raise funds from alumni, corporations, foundations, and our ability to obtain grants. Our 15-16 audit is nearly complete, and we are preparing simultaneously for the start of our 16-17 audit. Our endowment at its height was valued slightly over $10 million. Approximately 4 years ago, before this administration and most of our current board of trustee members, the college was granted permission by the Attorney General for the state of Ohio to use funds from the endowment to ensure that the college remained open. This happened 4 years ago. The college now has the services of Morgan Stanley, and Morgan Stanley advised us appropriately how to utilize those resources so that we could remain open. We are in the process of managing and maintaining the endowment and receiving accurate reporting of those accounts and the levels in which they would have matured, so that we can grant scholarships for individuals who have had endowments that have not been able to utilize those. By June 15, we will have completed our process of contacting every member that has given to the endowment to notify them of their options and how they will be able to award scholarships off funds, if not touch the proceeds, if the proceeds had not been touched, at what level those endowments would have been, and we will be giving institutional scholarships off that until we're able to make those scholarships whole. We expect, again, by June 15 to have contacted every member. The college, as you may know, has made some difficult decisions. We, at the advice of our board, were instructed to make sure that we managed our daily operations, our cash flow, and did projections. Back in November, we really thought about making workforce reductions to right-size the institution. When we got there, we made a significant chance at looking at our operation abilities and managed to cut almost $750,000 off the payroll budget. We still were not right-sized. And because of our projections going into the entire fiscal year, we knew that we were going to have to make some difficult decisions, some unpopular decisions, some decisions that would have a grave impact on families. But we knew that the best interest of the institution was paramount. And as such, we decided, instead of in January, we'd make it through the year, and decided in May to do some terminations, to do workforce reduction, furloughs, and all of us are taking a pay cut, mine more significant than the others, at least 20% across the board. These things are necessary, they're unpopular, but they are in the best interest of the institution. And we felt when we pitched this proposal to the board which went through much scrutiny. They gave us the green light to move in the direction, and we felt that this was the best interest for the institution and the viability of our future. We've addressed that. Now let's talk about the way forward. The Wilberforce University is currently experiencing a renaissance. Excellence, innovation, and kindness characterize this renaissance. At Wilberforce University, this renaissance is further designed by operational efficiency, fiscal responsibility, and strength, and an intentional focus on providing a rich student engagement experience. This renaissance is also a cultural rebirth of Wilberforce University. Based on the rediscovery of this significant history as America's first private HBCU founded by African Americans, and a renewed commitment to building upon the noteworthy and venerable legacy. The Renaissance allows us to operationalize our mission and act as a bridge of intellectual curiosity and rigor, academic achievement, social change, and the cultivation of an entrepreneurial spirit in the 21st century. Let's talk about our institutional transformative efforts. The strategic plan development that governs the institution is currently in effect until 2020. However, we currently are producing a modification for approval by the Board of Trustees that will keep the institutional focus of that of a strong quality liberal arts education, but to include an entrepreneurial intention. We will do this with 6 institutional drivers. Operational efficiency, 1, developing policies, procedures, and practices which assure and assess the highest standards of effectiveness. 2, academic excellence. Establish rigorous and challenging academic programs and intellectual experiences which prepare students for successful entry into the global society. 3, fiscal responsibility. Establish policies and procedures and practices which reflect the best and most promising key performance indicators in fiscal management and accountability. 4, student engagement. Establish policies, practices, and programs which create and support a vibrant, enhanced, rich, and holistic student experience that expands beyond this institution. 5, image enhancement. Establish a programmatic and campus infrastructure which supports the implementation of a comprehensive approach and plan to repair and enhance the image, reputation, and physical environment of the university with internal and external constituent groups. And last, civility and kindness. Establish policies and practices and programs which create and support an institutional and campus climate of genuine collegiality, mutual respect, and workplace collaboration, excellent customer service, and constituent satisfaction. Our academic enterprise has been reorganized. We now, to be more reflective of a university, have colleges. And we've operated outside of that scope with schools. But because we are a university, we thought it necessary to be reflective of that. And so we've put our university, broken it up now into 4 colleges. The first, the College of General and Foundational Studies, Gen Ed. The second, the College of Graduate and Adult and Continuing Education. That's the master's program and the Klein program. The third, the College of Arts and Science, self-explanatory, as well as the last, the College of Professional Studies. And we believe that this will, the Center for Entrepreneurship, or the new Bachelors of Arts in Entrepreneurships, will nestle snugly right up under the College of Professional Studies. To address the Klein or HLC's deficiencies with respects, or the university's deficiencies with respects to Klein program, we have new leadership. For the Klein program, he's aligned the curriculum and our degree programs, eliminated some that we were offering Klein programs and our students were not able to have access to. So we feel that we're in line with HLC and will be well. We've created the Center for Entrepreneurship, Social Good, and Transformational Leadership. We have a collaboration with Kennesaw State University. If you know anything about entrepreneurship, Babson College is the premier place for entrepreneurs. Kennesaw State went to Babson College and modeled their program, and we now have that exact curriculum at Wilberforce University. Our intention is to be the premier institute for individuals of African descent who aspire to be entrepreneurs. We have a singular focus, well, not necessarily a singular focus, but a strong emphasis on rebuilding the Rust Belt. Ohio, Michigan, Illinois, all cities, states that have been ravaged by the departure of factories, steel mills, etc. One of the focuses of the entrepreneur program will be to maintain contact, which we've already started with economic development corporations in those states, to have internships with our students who would like to be entrepreneurs. There's a big push from Dan Gilbert to really revitalize the city of Detroit. He did so in Denver, and we've had some preliminary conversations with his foundation and the group that is heading those things to see if we can find synergy to help with our program for entrepreneurships, for entrepreneurs. We also want to produce conscious graduates, and we believe the Center for Social Good will help us do that. Not just being, what does it mean to be a citizen who makes a lot of money or contributes to society, but what is your role in this realm of consciousness as a graduate and a citizen in a global society. And we're also looking for the outstanding leadership traits to produce the next bumper crop of leaders to serve at HBCUs and across America. If you look at our HBCUs, most of our institutions have troubles around leadership. And we believe that Wilberforce University can be at the tip of the spear with our Center for Entrepreneurship, Social Good, and Leadership. And our role in being able to help identify, cultivate, and push forward a new legion of individuals who are committed to the space and want to work here. We've also been able to join the NYU, the New York University Faculty Resource Network. This means that our faculty get an opportunity to go to NYU and spend 2 weeks in the summer and collaborate all throughout the year with faculty members from NYU, vice versa. We also have a faculty enhancement fund. Selfishly, I started it. I give every faculty member, it's I guess a plug, but the provost thought I should say it, so I'm gonna follow his instructions. I offer a $500 well, I guess it's an award to a faculty member every month. They have to simply write a proposal, and there's a committee that selects the best proposal that helps with their engagement with students, and I give them a check every month. It's not from the university, it's from me, my commitment to our faculty and their development and their enhancement. One day we'll get to the space and place where we're able to send them to different places, but right now we're not there. But I understand the need for our faculty to be engaged and to be conveyors of that knowledge that they have in any way that we might be able to aid them. We're looking to do that. We're also now we've rejoined the Council of Independent Colleges. And that's really important for our faculty and our staff members. It is so because we get an opportunity to be engaged with best practices, current research, and also it gives us an opportunity to have tuition reimbursement and tuition discounts for our children who go to students that are in the consortium, who go to the colleges that are in that consortium. And we've articulated our value proposition for Wilberforce University, and that is a premier liberal arts institution with an entrepreneurial intention. We are also intentional about reestablishing the co-op program to be reflective of its more proficient periods in the life of the college. Our athletics program, our athletics director made mention that she wanted to go into a new direction. We have began a search for a men and women's basketball coach to include programs that will help grow our athletic department. We are currently operating at a baseline level. We only have a few programs, which is men and women's basketball, men and women's track, or rather cross country, and a fledgling golf program. And in order for us to be viable in the NAIA, and we've got to make sure that our Title IX is compliant, so there are several things that we need to do. We're looking at joining, or not joining, but adding some more programs. The alumni multiplex is being sold, and the proceeds will allow us to address the debt with the Department of Education, the financial aid fines, our capital refinancing loans, and the extraordinarily some other debts that include existing loans that have been in play that total the sum of almost $7 million. Without the extraordinarily unwavering friend in the African Methodist Episcopal Church, who both at the 3rd District and the national level have stepped up to keep the doors open. These generous acts have allowed us to keep our doors open. And the proceeds from the aforementioned will go towards the existing debt amassed prior to this administration. The King, Jackson, Askew, and Valentine dorms are being renovated. We are, our institutional advancement office will be complemented with 2 additional hires. We have contracted, negotiated, and accepted terms with a director of alumni affairs who happens to be an alumnus. She will be, her first day is July 15th. We are precluded from saying her name because she is still with an employer and she's going up to the 2 weeks. But if you call the office on July 15th, you'll be greeted with a pleasant voice and probably a familiar voice of a Wilberforce alum who will serve as our Director of Alumni Affairs. The other addition to our Institutional Advancement Office is another alum, a young lady who also is in the same boat, will start on July 15th, and she will serve as our Director of Marketing and Public Relations. So this gives us a much needed shot in the arm to really reimagine the narrative about Wilberforce University and to create and tell our story as opposed to reacting to stories that are told by others about us. Fundraising. Others have been willing to invest in the Wilberforce Renaissance based on the work that we've been able to do since our arrival in July 2016. Let's talk about those others. The Career Pathways Initiative, $1 million from the United Negro College Fund. Out of the 82 that applied, Wilberforce was one of the colleges that received a $1 million grant. And that grant is to help us with our Career Pathways Initiative, which means that students are properly advised and they matriculate. After matriculation, get a job in the field of study. That's critically important. And most funders are looking at how well you're able to produce graduates who go into the field of study. And in fact, they're tying their giving to those outcomes. But we were able to get that grant. It's a 4-year grant, and it allows us to help ensure that those students receive the appropriate level of advisement and all the aids and tools to help them get through their 4 years. There is another institution, which I can't name, a major foundation or corporation rather, that has granted us a $500,000 gift to launch our Center for Entrepreneurship, Social Good, and Transformative Leadership. That gift will come probably July 1, but no later than July 31st. And at that time, there will be a major announcement. Home Depot, the construction grant, or retool your school. Because of the work of our zealots known as Forcians all throughout the globe, we were able to slaughter everyone in Cluster 3. We had some 179,000 votes, and the next school that was closest to us was 40,000 short of where we were. This $50,000 will help transform the north end of our campus. We had basketball courts that have not been utilized in years, a tennis court that has not been utilized. We looked at our intramural space and decided with our students of the proposals that they submitted, the one that they agreed to was to create an intramural complex. So our basketball courts will be resurfaced, fiberglass backboards. We will resurface our tennis court. We'll dig in a volleyball pit and also put a slab of concrete and some benches out for barbecue pits and a place of socialization. And on the other end, next to the, across the street, next to the alumni multiplex, we will put a soccer field and a flag football field there with some permanent markers, the soccer goals. We pitched the notion that in order for an institution to have school pride, it had to start with health and wellness. And that program, that proposal, was voted #1 in our cluster of schools under 1,000. So we're really excited about this effort. But be not lost on the fact that what I've mentioned to you before are individuals external of the institution. And there was a narrative that we were dead. It was a narrative that you're throwing good money after bad or bad money after good, whatever that narrative is. But we've been able to really smash and quash that notion. And we have external agencies that are really geared up to be a part of the Renaissance. Let me tell you where we're going. Project Success is another event that we were able to, not event, but a grant that we were able to get that helps us with our matriculation, with attrition, with graduation rates, with emergency funds for our students. There's a grant that most colleges had the opportunity to write a grant and be a part of, and there was some $20 million aided for those institutions, and there were only maybe 15 or 20. What happens is you have an independent outside company come in and look at your policies and procedures centered around student engagement, centered around graduation and retention. And most institutions are probably not too keen on allowing outside agencies to come in, but we are. We're absolutely happy to have them. We're going to receive money in the sum of emergency funds to be allocated for students that have emergencies at home. We're able to get them home now. We're able to help students with toiletries and things that don't really sound like a big deal, but matter a lot to students traveling away from home. That's one piece that we're really excited about. The other piece is them looking at our retention rates and figuring out how do we model best practices, how do we inculcate those into the spirit of Wilberforce and do a great service, a greater service to our students. We believe that in order for our institution to move forward, we have to raise money. And so we have went before the Board of Trustees and have been given the authority to launch a $7 million stabilization campaign. And I'll talk to you about that a little more. But I want to talk to you about what success looks like. And I want to talk about an institution down in Orangeburg, South Carolina, by the name of Claflin University. And I want to give you some startling, staggering figures for a small school that about 15 years ago, the large school, South Carolina State, looked across the street and thought that they weren't worthy to be on the same street with them. Oh, how the tables have turned. They launched the Imagine the Possibilities capital campaign in June 30th of 2011. Their focuses were to strengthen programs, enhance facilities, provide scholarships, and financial aid for students. And their original goal was $96.4 million. To date, they've raised $98.7 million. Private funds before the launch, $55 million. Not financial aid, not grants, private funds. Phase one goal was $80 million. They actually raised $89.6 million. Their largest contribution to the campaign, more than 10 seven-figure gifts. Their largest was a $4.3 million campaign, $4.3 million gift. But here's where you should really focus on what excellence looks like. Their giving constituents, their Claflin student body had a goal of $50,000. They smashed it and raised just over $100,000. These are the students. They actually raised $162,438. The Claflin parents' goal was $50,000. They raised $72,140. The alumni goal was $10 million. They actually raised $7 million. And over 82% of their alumni gave. 82%. Their faculty and staff had over 98% participation, raising $2.3 million. Friends of the university raised over $10 million. Corporate partners raised over $10 million. And with the aforementioned in mind, I want to say to you, what's different from Claflin University and Wilberforce University? I would submit to you absolutely nothing. In fact, I would argue that our alums have been well placed, probably slightly better than them. But I'll tell you what's different. For 15 years, they've had steady leadership. Claflin University was, 15 years ago, was not the Claflin University it is today. They also had a vision, and they had stable leadership that allowed them to move forward, articulate a goal, and stay focused. But what is, I think, the singularly most important attribute of Claflin University is over the last 10 years, they've had a consistency in donor giving from alums that exceeded over 50%. They rose to the challenge for the campaign, but outside of a campaign, over 50% of their alums gave. What are we going to do with $7 million? Well, you're selling property across the street. We're leveraging assets that we have. It's a common practice that's done everywhere in America. So this is nothing new. It's very simple to a homeowner taking out a home equity loan. We retain the rights and the usage of the properties. Nothing changes. It allows us to arrest some debt that needs to be done for HLC to show them that we're good stewards of the resources that we have. Our infrastructure, this $7 million will be able to aid us in helping with our infrastructure. We're in desperate need of repair. Our academic classrooms, our library space, our housing, and even our office space all needs a facelift. We're $7.5 million in debt, and that was inherited, but it has not increased. The debt has not increased, but must be addressed outside of the reliance of tuition and fees. And there is no grant in America that will allow us to utilize funds for operating expenses. So as I close, I want to leave you with just a slight remark around giving and why we need to give. The institution has took what we believe measures to do the things to show you that we're good stewards and will be good stewards of your resources. We've cut debt, we've cut operational payrolls, we've cut corners in every way possible and imaginable. We've raised money. We have, we believe, lifted the profile of the institution. And we've shown that our communication skills are on line with the best of the institutions with respects to hearing from the administration. We're open, we're amenable to conversations. And I just want to tell you that Wilberforce will be extremely successful. The question will be whether or not you're comfortable when we get across the finish line and knowing whether or not when the baton was handed to you, if you ran your leg in the race. The race is still running. Those before us have ran it well, and they've passed that baton on to us. And it's extremely important that we grab that baton and keep running. Our life depends on it. And if we are to move into the 21st century and to be a venerable institution, we won't be able to do that without the success of our alumni, the partnership of our alumni, and being able to leverage those two things. So I say to you, Suo Marte, and I hope that I can count on you to meet us at the finish line to make sure that we return to prominence and lead this institution to greater heights. Thank you.